In this video, I want to go over my coaching service with you and exactly what it is prior to us meeting on our first call. So, what I'm able to do throughout this program, and what I like about online, and this is something that I actually want to get into quickly before we even start, is online coaching allows me to work with the athlete 24/7. In-person coaching, you show up to the gym or you show up to the field and it's 1 hour, and then that's it. Online coaching, we have access to communicate every single day. And through that, I think it's really important and beneficial. And that's why it's actually more valuable in the long run than in-person coaching because you're going to have access to this stuff right here, right in front of your hand, right in front of your face. All right. So, first thing I want to go over is going to be the training program in general. All right, so now this is going to be tailored directly towards whatever athlete that I'm working with. All right, so let's say you're an athlete and you're 10 years old. You're going to have a different program than an athlete that, say, is 15, 16, or 20 years old. All right, so everybody's going to be slightly unique and it's going to be tweaked. It's also going to be tweaked based on positioning. All right, but I'm able to outline a program that you can follow every single day. All right. So on your dashboard, it will just say things to do today. All right. So this is things to do yesterday, things to do today. All right. So wall ball routine, mile fascia release. You have access to this stuff 24/7. So this is never leaving. You're able to, let's say you missed today's workout, you're able to go back in the dash and go do it here. So access to it 24/7. And when I tell you this is exactly what I've used that helped me get to Syracuse University, but it's also what professional athletes are using now to help them elevate their game and improve their performance. All right, so all of this stuff is right directly in front of your face, and that's why it's really important that you use it as your resource. This is like one of those things, and I'm sure that you've been self-researching on your own, which is important, and that's definitely beneficial. And I would still highly recommend, even with this, for you to do that as well, because you could just be constantly learning. But this is the framework of everything that I've used to improve my performance or have learned from other people through conversation, through research that have helped them improve their game and their performance. All right, so this is just the training outline. Then to get into a little bit deeper is the athlete's also going to have a meal plan. All right, let me go to a different athlete on here. All right, athlete's going to have a meal plan. And on that meal plan, they're able to track. And again, not everybody needs the meal plan. You know, if you're an athlete that you don't want to focus on your meals and you don't want to track, that's your prerogative. All right, but really important, I think it's actually really beneficial that we do track. All right, so in here, we're able to upload foods that we eat. All right, and we have a calorie goal. So that was something, again, exactly what I've done that helped me improve my game off the field as far as what I was eating, and anything that I've ever learned through research is all on here and you have access to it 24/7. This also allows me to see and be able to look at what the athlete's eating so that I can have a conversation with them during our weekly call. All right, so within this service, we have a one-on-one coaching call once a week. All right, that call can range anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour. All right, and within each call, I do have mindset drills, film study, and we will be talking about the game. But we're also going to be talking about the week and reflecting on the week. What went well? What didn't go well? What do we need to work on moving forward? All right, and then we're going to acknowledge that so that we could put it into consistent action. Again, it's an everyday thing. You can't just show up 2 days a week and think that you're going to improve your game. It needs to be consistency throughout your season, throughout the off season. It's a lifestyle. And when you make it a lifestyle, you see the growth that much faster. All right, so this is an idea of what the training profile is or what the training program is. All right, and again, like you'll be able to open up and see different drills. These are all the same exact drills that I've done in my in-person coaching. All right. So all you need to do is watch it virtually and then just be able to carry out the drill. All right. And the best part about this is that if I was meeting with you in person, I would only get to see you for 1 hour every single week. This allows me to be able to upload you workouts and field work stuff to do every single day throughout the week. So lots of stuff on here. Definitely use this as your resource. All right, another thing that we do is film study. All right, so again, like we'll be choosing different athletes to watch. We're going to be watching the game. We're going to be studying film. We're going to be studying what the best athletes are doing in your sport that are helping them be successful. And then we're going to figure out how we could transition and use those same things into your game. And then third is the classroom. All right, so this you have access to 24/7 and it's never going away. All right, within this classroom, you're able to watch video tutorials on anything that I felt would be really beneficial for athletes as far as developing your mindset, as far as getting recruited to go to school or go to college. All right, is all on here. So you have access to this. I like to keep each video about 5 minutes. All right, reason why I like to keep it 5 minutes is because depending on the age range and focus level of the athletes, it's really important that we keep it nice and short and sweet. All right, but highly beneficial and effective. I tell all my athletes that you should be that you could watch one of these things while you're in your commute to go to school, or maybe it's on an off period during your lunch. It's 5 minutes. All right, so really important if you spend 5 minutes and you watch one of these once a day, each one of these is focusing on a lesson that's going to help you be able to either build your mindset and put yourself in a closer situation to be able to get recruited. All right, so it's not just about training. And that's what I tell people all the time is that the service, yes, it is about training. We're focusing on building skills, but we're also focusing on developing you as a total person. And that was something like I had an athlete on yesterday, and we were studying a coach of I think it was South Carolina. Her name was Dawn Staley, Coach Dawn Staley, and something that she was talking about was, and again, national champion, has highly successful as a coach. And something that she was talking about was how she's looking for good people because good people are going to transition into good basketball players. And when you have and or lacrosse players, it doesn't even matter any sport that you're playing, but when you have good people within your circle and you're all coming together and working towards a common goal, that's going to create a nice structure. So we're really looking to within this coaching service and within this program is really developing you as both a total complete athlete. Someone that is fast, someone that explosive, someone that has a really good craft, right? And you have that foundation, but you also want to be a good person, a good leader, right? So that's what we're going to be working on here.